On the day of my engagement, I found out my father's mistress was none other than my best friend. Standing just a few feet away, I saw them wrapped in each other's arms. My world collapsed instinctively. I reached for my fiancé, Cole Parker, hoping to find some comfort. But the second my hand brushed against his, I felt only coldness. His hands were clenched into tight fists, confused. I looked up at him. His eyes were bloodshot, his face twisted with rage and jealousy. Before I could react, he stormed forward and threw a punch at my father. "Richard Hayes, you dare touch my woman!" I stood there in my engagement dress, frozen in the middle of a busy street. It felt like I had fallen into an icy abyss. My fiancé and my father were brawling on my engagement day. Because of my best friend, I couldn't imagine anything more absurd or humiliating. The guests who had come to celebrate were left speechless, their eyes darting between the fight and me, their whispers barely masking their amusement or pity. And then my so-called best friend Tast sauntered up to me, a smug smile plastered across her face. She looked me up and down, completely unfazed by the chaos. "Layla Hayes," she said, her voice dripping with mockery. "Noma, why should you have everything? Why should you get to live a life of luxury while I have nothing? It's not fair. But don't worry now, everything you have belongs to me." Her words shattered me further. I turned to my mother, desperate for some kind of support, some comfort, but to my horror, she was just standing there watching it all unfold with a cold, detached expression. My heart sank as I stumbled toward her, tears streaming down my face. "You knew, didn't you?" I choked out, my voice trembling. My mother sighed, her face devoid of the warmth she had shown earlier during the engagement party when she'd held my hand and proudly called me her most precious daughter. "Yes," she admitted, her tone flat. "Why didn't you tell me?" I screamed, my voice breaking as tears ruined my carefully applied makeup, smearing it into a grotesque mess. "What good would it have done?" she said, her voice unfeeling. "Tambio, you just be another person suffering. The Hayes and Parker families need this marriage to happen. Do you have another option?" I laughed bitterly, the sound hollow and filled with despair. "So that's all I am to you," I said, my voice trembling. "And motu a tool for this alliance. My happiness doesn't matter. Loyalty doesn't matter. Honesty within this family doesn't matter. Does it?" My mother reverted her gaze, looking toward the fight between my father and Cole, now being broken up by their assistants. "Leela," she said, her voice sharp. "Mantra, what right do you have to complain? No one in this family has it easy." Her words hit me like a slap. I staggered back, my tears blurring my vision as I shook my head in disbelief. "Wow," I whispered, my voice dripping with sarcasm. My engagement day, one of the most important days of my life, and my dad, my fiancé, my best friend, and even my own mother have all betrayed me. What a pathetic joke I am." With that, I turned and ran, ignoring the voices calling my name. I couldn't stay there a second longer. Everyone in that place disgusted me. By the time Cole returned to the house that evening, I had already destroyed everything in the engagement suite. The servants huddled in a corner, too terrified to intervene, watching me tear through the room like a hurricane. When I finally collapsed on the floor, exhausted and out of breath, Cole walked in. His shirt was unbuttoned at the top, revealing bruises on his chest and a fresh cut on his cheek. He looked down at me with zero remorse, his expression cold and condescending. "Are you done?" he asked, his tone laced with irritation. I glared up at him through my tears, wishing my gaze could cut him like a knife. "Leela," he began, his voice calm but mocking. "Honteur, this is just a business arrangement. I thought we both understood that I didn't think I needed your permission to see other women."